They call it España, a land where every sunrise tells a story and every sunset whispers poetry. From the echoing footsteps in ancient castles to the laughter that fills the Mediterranean breeze, Spain is not just a country. It's an experience that touches the soul. Here, time doesn't just pass, it dances. Through cobblestone streets and royal palaces, along rugged cliffs and sun-drenched vineyards, every corner reveals a different heartbeat. This is where history breathes, art speaks, and passion lives forever. Welcome to Spain like you've never seen before. A journey across kingdoms and coastlines, where beauty hides in plain sight, waiting for you to see it not as a traveler, but as a dreamer. The magic of Spain, its rhythm, light, and timeless spirit, paint a sweeping portrait of the nation's diversity, from flamenco in Andalusia to modern life in Madrid. Introduce Spain not just as a place, but as a living poem, a country of passion, art, and soul. The first light of dawn sweeps across the Iberian Peninsula, igniting the land in shades of gold and crimson. From the Pyrenees to the southern shores of Andalusia, Spain awakens like a living canvas, painted by time, shaped by history, and bound by passion. Here, every sunrise feels like a rebirth of centuries. Every whisper of wind carries stories of kings, conquerors, poets, and dreamers. This is Spain, a nation that beats with the rhythm of flamenco, breathes through the scent of orange blossoms, and glows with an evanescent, eternal fire that refuses to fade. You don't just visit Spain, you feel it. It's in the echoing footsteps through an old Moorish courtyard. It's in the laughter spilling from a tiny cafe at midnight. It's in the silence of a sunlit cathedral and the roar of a football crowd that shakes the earth beneath your feet. This is a land where time bends, where tradition dances with modernity, and where the spirit of life itself seems to shimmer in the air. The soul of Spain is not confined to one place, it's everywhere. In Madrid's elegant chaos, in Andalusia's golden heart, in Barcelona's surreal beauty, in the misty mountains of the north. Each region is a story, a note in a grand symphony that has been playing for centuries. And together, they form a melody that touches something deep and universal, the human desire to live fully, to feel deeply, and to belong somewhere timeless. Our journey begins in the heart of it all, Madrid. But before we get there, look closer at the land itself. The plains of Castile stretch endlessly under a cobalt sky, where windmills turn like silent guardians of the past. Olive groves ripple in waves of silver green. Villages, whitewashed and still, seem untouched by time. And in the distance, the Sierra Nevada rises like a crown of stone and snow, a reminder that Spain's landscapes are as diverse as its soul. Spain is a country that has lived many lives. Once a Roman province, then the crown jewel of Islamic Al-Andalus, later the empire upon which the sun never set. Its history is not a straight line. It's a mosaic of triumph and tragedy, invasion and invention. The Romans left their roads and aqueducts. The Moors left their palaces and poetry. The Catholic monarchs built cathedrals that still pierce the sky. Every century left a mark, and every mark became art. But beyond the palaces and plazas, Spain's true magic lives in its people. They are storytellers by nature, artists of emotion. In every glance, every gesture, every celebration, there is pride, warmth, and a love for life that refuses to be dimmed. From the farmer in a mountain village to the flamenco dancer on a moonlit stage, there is an unspoken understanding. Life is fleeting, so live it vividly. Listen closely, and you can hear the rhythm of Spain everywhere. It's in the beating of a drum at a festival, in the strum of a guitar in a backstreet bar, in the call of the church bells that echo through narrow alleys. This rhythm is the pulse of a country that never forgets where it came from, even as it dreams of where it's going. And so, our cinematic journey unfolds a voyage through centuries of art, architecture, and emotion. We'll walk through royal halls and quiet monasteries, We'll stand beneath cathedrals carved from stone and time. We'll dance through plazas where laughter spills like wine, and we'll drift through coastal towns where the sea hums softly against ancient walls. Because Spain isn't just a destination, it's an experience that seeps into your bones. It's the light that burns a little brighter, the music that lingers a little longer, the flavor that stays on your tongue long after the meal is done. It's a world where passion and patience coexist, where every sunset feels like a masterpiece painted just for you. As the golden hour falls over the horizon, the camera pans across the endless landscape, rolling hills, crimson rooftops, and fields of sunflowers, turning their faces to the dying Sunday. The voice fades, leaving only the sound of wind and distant laughter. And then, the journey begins. Welcome to Spain like you've never seen before. A story of heart and history, fire and light, where every step reveals a new wonder, and every moment feels eternal. This is not just a travel film. It's an invitation to feel Spain, to live Spain, to become Spain. Take viewers through Madrid's grand boulevards, royal palaces, and hidden corners. Explore the grandeur of the Prado Museum, the charm of Plaza Mayor, and the elegance of Retiro Park. Blend the energy of modern Spain with its deep royal heritage and artistic brilliance, and with Madrid's nightlife, where the city never sleeps. In the very center of Spain lies a city that never truly sleeps, a place where history and modernity collide in a dazzling explosion of culture, light, and life. Madrid, the capital, the heartbeat, the unbreakable spirit of a nation that has seen it all. Here, centuries of power and art intertwine beneath skies that blaze in impossible shades of blue. From royal palaces to crowded cafes, from quiet gardens to grand boulevards, Madrid hums with an energy that's both timeless and electric. The first light spills over the rooftops of Gran Via, that majestic avenue where elegance meets chaos. The city wakes slowly at first, the echo of footsteps on cobblestones, the hiss of espresso machines, the smell of fresh churros dusted with sugar. Then, as the morning unfolds, Madrid comes alive in full color. Street performers tune their guitars near the Plaza Mayor. The scent of jamón and coffee drifts through narrow lanes, and laughter begins to fill the air. There's something magnetic about Madrid. It's not just the beauty of its architecture or the grandeur of its history. It's the soul that breathes through every stone, every song, every smile. You can feel it as you stand before the royal palace. That colossal masterpiece of Baroque design where time itself seems to bow in reverence. It's not just a building. It's a symbol of Spain's golden past, a reminder of empires, alliances, and the enduring strength of a proud people. Across from it, the Almudena Cathedral stands as a spiritual mirror, its domes gleaming under the sunlight. Step inside, and the hum of the city fades. The air cools, filled with silence and stained glass light. You can almost hear the prayers of centuries echoing through the marble halls. This is Madrid's duality, royalty and faith, power and peace coexisting in perfect balance. But walk a few blocks away, and the mood shifts. Suddenly, you're in La Latina, a maze of narrow streets where life spills from every doorway. Here, the sound of flamenco rises from hidden taverns. Locals share tapas beneath strings of glowing lanterns. Conversations overlap in a joyful chaos that feels like music. In Madrid, food isn't just sustenance, it's storytelling. Every dish, every glass of wine carries the flavor of centuries. You sit at a small table, watching life unfold like a film. A guitarist begins to play. The notes are sharp, raw, and full of soul. An old man sings softly, his voice cracked with memory. For a moment, everything else disappears. That's Madrid's magic. It captures you not through spectacle, but through feeling. You don't observe this city, you become part of it. And then there's Retiro Park, the lungs of Madrid. Once a royal retreat, now a green sanctuary for everyone. As the afternoon sun glows through the trees, the lake mirrors the world in shimmering ripples. Couples row small boats, children chase pigeons, and artists sketch in quiet corners. The glass walls of the Palacio de Cristal reflect the sky in perfect symmetry, as if the heavens themselves were trapped inside. Here, amid the calm, the city takes a breath. But Madrid isn't only about its quiet beauty. It's also a city of art and intellect, where the past meets the avant-garde. The Prado Museum stands as one of humanity's great treasures, a temple to genius. Inside, Velázquez, Goya, and El Greco tell the story of Spain through brush and shadow. You walk through halls heavy with history, and time begins to blur. Every painting is a heartbeat, every masterpiece, a memory preserved in oil and light. Then, a short walk away, the Reina Sofia Museum shatters everything you thought you knew about art. Picasso's Guernica dominates the room, a colossal cry against war, against pain, against forgetting. Standing before it, you feel the full weight of Spain's journey, its suffering, resilience, and endless rebirth. It's impossible not to be moved. As day fades into twilight, Madrid changes again. The golden light deepens, and the city's rhythm shifts from motion to melody. Locals gather in plazas as guitars strike up and wine flows freely. The streets of Malasaña and Chueca come alive with laughter, neon, and music. The air is warm, electric, a celebration of everything that makes life worth living. From above, the city glows like a constellation, each light a story, each shadow a secret. You can almost feel the centuries watching as the night deepens. The poets of old Madrid, the kings and queens of Spain's long reign, the revolutionaries and dreamers who once walked these same streets. Madrid is not just a city, it's a mirror reflecting all the contradictions of life, joy and sorrow, power and humility, old and new. And as midnight strikes, you realize something profound. Madrid doesn't rest. Not really. It simply changes its rhythm, slowing just enough for you to catch your breath before it surges forward again. Because in Madrid, time doesn't pass, it dances. The camera pans across the city's skyline, Gran Via's lights stretching into the horizon, the palace bathed in silver moonlight, the faint sound of guitar strings lingering in the air. The narrator's voice softens, almost a whisper. In Madrid, the night never ends, it only transforms. Because here, in the heart of Spain, life is not measured in hours, but in moments that stay with you forever. Dive into the south, Seville, Córdoba, Granada. Capture the beauty of the Alhambra's palaces, the great mosque of Córdoba, and the vibrant streets of Seville. Describe the sounds of flamenco echoing through narrow alleys and the golden light falling over olive groves. Show how Moorish history and Spanish culture blend into a living masterpiece. There is a place in Spain where the air itself seems to hum with poetry, where the light burns golden and the past feels almost alive. This is Andalusia, the land of sun, soul, and stories. Here, beneath a sky that never fades, Spain reveals its deepest heart. Every stone, every song, every gust of desert wind whispers of empires, faith, and the eternal dance of passion and pride. As dawn breaks over Granada, the city awakens beneath the shadow of its greatest treasure, the Alhambra. Its red walls glow like embers in the morning light, and the snow-capped peaks of the Sierra Nevada rise behind it, silent and eternal. Step inside, and you step back through centuries of art, conquest, and love. The whisper of water through marble fountains, the intricate lace of Arabic calligraphy on stone, the faint scent of jasmine, all merge into something almost otherworldly. This is not just architecture, it's a dream carved into existence. The Alhambra tells the story of the last Moorish kingdom in Spain, where Islamic art reached its peak, and beauty became a form of worship. You walk through the Court of the Lions, where each column seems alive with, and time itself slows. In that stillness, you can almost hear the echoes of poets who once recited verses to sultans under the starlit Andalusian sky. From Granada, the road winds south toward Seville, the beating heart of Andalusia. Here, the rhythm of life is measured not by clocks, but by the sound of flamenco, that wild, aching cry that seems to come from somewhere beyond the human soul. In the narrow streets of Triana, under balconies draped with flowers, the music rises like fire. A dancer stamps her feet, her dress whirling in a storm of color. A guitarist's fingers blur across the strings, and a singer's voice cuts through the night like lightning. It's not just performance, it's emotion turned into motion, sorrow turned into strength. Seville is a city of light and devotion. Its cathedral, one of the largest in the world, towers like a mountain of stone, crowned by the elegant Giralda bell tower, a former minaret reborn as a Christian steeple. Inside, the silence is immense, filled with the ghosts of kings and saints. Beneath its soaring vaults lies the tomb of Christopher Columbus, as if to remind the world that from Andalusia once set sail the dreamers who changed history. Yet Seville is not only about grandeur, it's about life itself. The orange trees perfume every plaza, the cafes overflow with laughter, and every sunset paints the city in gold. From the banks of the Guadalquivir River, the reflection of the Torre del Oro shimmers like molten metal, as if the city's very soul were glowing from within. Further west, the story deepens in Córdoba, a place where the boundaries between cultures once disappeared entirely. Long ago, this city was the jewel of the Islamic world, a beacon of learning, tolerance, and art. The Mezquita, its great mosque, remains one of the most breathtaking structures ever built by human hands. You enter, and the world dissolves into endless columns and arches, red and white, light and shadow, rhythm and silence. It feels like walking into infinity. Then, at the heart of this sacred space, stands a cathedral built later. Within the mosque itself, two faiths, two worlds, one structure. It's strange, it's haunting, and it's profoundly beautiful, a symbol of what Andalusia has always been, a meeting point of civilizations. The air carries the weight of 1,000 years, yet it feels timeless. Travel farther south, and Andalusia changes again. The land turns wild, the hills golden and dry. Ronda appears suddenly, perched on the edge of a dramatic gorge. The Puente Nuevo, that immense stone bridge, stretches across a chasm so deep it feels like it separates heaven and earth. Below, the Guadalquivir River carves its way through rock as vultures circle in the distance. Here, Spain's romantic spirit takes on flesh, the courage of matadors, the honor of poets, the melancholy of lost love. Ronda is the kind of place that feels like a story that never ends. And then comes the sea. The Mediterranean glitters like liquid glass, and whitewashed villages cling to the cliffs of the Costa del Sol. In Malaga, where Picasso was born, art flows through the streets like sunlight. The city's renaissance has turned it into one of Spain's most vibrant destinations. Ancient fortresses overlooking sleek modern museums, beach cafes alive with music, the scent of salt and grilled sardines in the air. But Andalusia is not just about beauty, it's about spirit. It's where the heat of the desert meets the cool of the mountains, where faith meets rebellion, where every glance and gesture carries a story. This is the land where Spain's essence was forged, in fire and song. As the sun sinks low over the hills, the sky ignites in shades of orange, rose, and violet. The silhouette of a flamenco dancer fades against the horizon, her hands raised as if catching the last light of day. The guitar plays one final note, a sound that hangs in the air like memory itself. The voice softens, reflective, as the camera sweeps across the glowing rooftops of Seville, the golden walls of the Alhambra, and the winding alleys of Córdoba. Andalusia is not a place you visit, it's a feeling you carry. It lingers in your chest like a song that never truly ends. Explore Barcelona as a dreamscape of imagination. Gaudi's surreal architecture, the color of Park Güell, and the grandeur of Sagrada Familia. Walk through the Gothic Quarter, down La Rambla, and along the Mediterranean coast. Highlight how Barcelona embodies Spain's modern creativity while rooted in centuries of history. There's a part of Spain where the waves crash against rugged cliffs and the mountains plunge straight into the sea, a land of mystery, independence, and deep pride. This is the Basque Country, where the language is older than any known in Europe and the spirit of its people burns as fiercely as the Atlantic storms that shape its coast. From the glittering sophistication of San Sebastian to the industrial soul of Bilbao and the quiet fishing villages that dot its emerald hills, this is a region that stands apart, proud, and untamed. The camera sweeps over the Bay of Biscay, where sunlight shimmers on restless waters. The air feels raw and fresh, alive with the scent of salt and pine. This isn't the golden warmth of southern Spain. It's wilder, sharper, more elemental. Here, nature rules, and the land has a pulse of its own. The journey begins in San Sebastian, one of the most enchanting coastal cities in the world. The La Concha Bay curves like a perfect crescent, framed by rolling green hills and crowned with white sands. As morning light dances across the water, the city feels almost dreamlike. Stroll along the promenade, and you'll hear the gentle rhythm of the waves blending with the soft hum of laughter from seaside cafes. San Sebastian is elegance and simplicity entwined, a city that knows how to live well. And then there's the food. In the Basque Country, cuisine isn't just sustenance, it's identity. This is the land that gave the world pinzos, those exquisite small bites that transform a simple bar crawl into a feast for the senses. Imagine stepping into a bustling tavern in the Old Town, the counter overflowing with plates, anchovies with roasted peppers, croquettes of creamy cod, and skewers of jamon so thin they melt on your tongue. Every bite tells a story. Every flavor is a celebration. San Sebastian holds more Michelin stars per capita than almost any other city on Earth, but its heart still beats strongest in its humble taverns. As dusk falls, the city glows in gold and violet. Locals gather on terraces overlooking the bay, raising glasses of cider or Tiexacoli, the local sparkling wine. Music drifts through the air, laughter spills into the streets, and the stars reflect on the sea. It's a moment that feels eternal, an expression of joy that belongs to this place and nowhere else. From the coast, the road leads inland to Bilbao, a city that embodies transformation. Once a gritty industrial hub, it has reinvented itself into a beacon of art and architecture. The Guggenheim Museum, with its sweeping titanium curves designed by Frank Gehry, seems to float beside the river like a vision from the future. As the light shifts across its metallic skin, it reflects the city's rebirth, a masterpiece that turned Bilbao from gray to gold. Inside, the echo of footsteps mingles with the hum of imagination, as modern art tells the story of humanity's restless creativity. Yet, Bilbao is more than its museum. Its soul still lives in the narrow alleys of the Casco Viejo, the old town where stone archways, iron balconies, and the scent of grilled seafood fill the air. Street performers play accordions beneath cathedral towers. Children run between the cafes, and the smell of roasted chestnuts mingles with rain-soaked cobblestones. Bilbao is a city that has learned to embrace both its past and its future, a rare balance of heart and ambition. But beyond the cities lies the Basque Country's wild side, its coastline, where nature speaks louder than any human voice. One of its most breathtaking secrets is Gaztelugatx, a tiny island crowned by a lonely stone hermitage, connected to the mainland by a winding bridge of 241 steps. The sea crashes below with relentless fury as the wind whips around you. Each step upward feels like a pilgrimage, each breath a reminder of how small we are against the raw power of the earth. When you reach the top, you ring the bell 3 times and make a wish, as local tradition says. The sound echoes through the cliffs like a prayer carried by the ocean. Further along the coast lies Getaria, a charming fishing town where time seems to slow. Boats sway gently in the harbor, and the smell of freshly grilled fish fills the air. Locals gather at small seaside restaurants, sipping white wine and watching the waves roll in. The rhythm of life here follows the tide, steady, eternal, pure. This is the Basque Country at its most authentic, where heritage lives not in museums but in everyday moments. And then there are the mountains. The Pyrenees rise in the distance, silent and immense, their slopes blanketed in forests and mist. Tiny villages nestle in the valleys, their red-roofed houses surrounded by fields of wildflowers. Here, ancient Basque legends still whisper through the trees, tales of spirits, warriors, and gods of the forest. It's a world that feels untouched by time, a reminder that this land is as much myth as it is geography. As night descends, the camera glides over the northern coast, capturing the wild surf and the flicker of village lights reflected on the waves. A voice, soft but resolute, breaks through the sound of the wind. This is the Basque Country, a place of strength, silence, and soul, a land that stands apart yet defines the spirit of Spain itself. Between the mountains and the sea, it whispers a truth older than memory, that beauty is not just seen, it is felt. Take viewers into the lesser-known regions, Asturias, Cantabria, and Galicia. Describe misty mountains, green valleys, and dramatic cliffs. Capture the Celtic heritage, the pilgrimage routes of Santiago de Compostela, and the rugged beauty of the Atlantic coast. Portray the North as Spain's secret soul, wild, mysterious, and deeply spiritual. There's a glow that hangs over Spain's eastern coast, a soft golden light that touches everything it meets. This is Valencia, where the Mediterranean kisses the land and the past dances hand in hand with the future. Here, orange blossoms perfume the breeze, Gothic cathedrals cast shadows beside glass domes of the future, and every street hums with creativity. Valencia is not just a city, it's a feeling of warmth, brightness, and balance. It is Spain's radiant heart on the sea. As dawn breaks over the Turia Gardens, the city stirs awake beneath a sky painted in rose and amber. Once a riverbed that flooded the city, the Turia has been transformed into a lush ribbon of life, a 9-kilometer-long park winding through the heart of Valencia. Locals jog along shaded paths. Children play beneath palm trees, and couples cycle past fountains and citrus groves. It's a living symbol of transformation, how something once destructive can become a gift of peace and beauty. At the end of this green corridor, the future rises before you in steel and glass. The city of arts and sciences, designed by the visionary architect Santiago Calatrava. This futuristic complex looks like it was built for another world. White arches curve like the ribs of a whale. Reflections ripple across vast pools of water. Inside, there are museums, concert halls, and an oceanographic park, the largest in Europe. As sunlight glints off the structures, it feels as if Valencia itself is dreaming forward, reaching for tomorrow. But walk a little farther, and time folds backward again. In the old town, history whispers from every corner. The Valencia Cathedral rises at the heart of it all, a breathtaking blend of Romanesque, Gothic, and Baroque. Inside, a sacred relic rests quietly, the Holy Grail, or so legend claims. The cup said to have been used by Christ at the Last Supper glows softly behind glass, its mystery preserved for centuries. Whether you believe or not, standing before it stirs something deep, a reminder that faith and imagination are powerful things. Outside, the Plaza de la Virgen buzzes with life. Fountains shimmer in the sunlight, musicians strum guitars, and the laughter of families fills the square. Cafes spill onto cobblestone streets, where the scent of espresso and sweet horchata drifts through the air. This is the real Valencia, vibrant, welcoming, alive. As the sun climbs higher, you wander toward the Central Market, one of Europe's largest and most beautiful. The stained glass roof scatters light across stalls, bursting with color pyramids of oranges and lemons, barrels of olives, and gleaming displays of seafood caught just hours before. Vendors call out in the sing-song rhythm of Valencian speech, and every taste seems fresher, richer, closer to the earth. You try a slice of jamon, a sip of local wine, and the sweetness of Tehran almond and honey melting on your tongue. In the afternoon, the warmth of the day draws you to the Malvarosa beach. The Mediterranean stretches endlessly, blue and bright as liquid sapphire. Waves lap softly against golden sands while families picnic beneath umbrellas, and children build castles that the tide will soon claim. Along the promenade, restaurants serve steaming pans of paella, Valencia's most famous gift to the world. Its colors are as vivid as the landscape itself: saffron yellow rice, red peppers, green beans, and the tender aroma of seafood and smoke. Each bite is history born from the fields, the sea, and the passion of the people who cook it with pride. As evening nears, Valencia begins to glow. The light softens, the air cools, and the city takes on a new rhythm. Locals fill the terraces, clinking glasses of sangria or agua de Valencia, a sparkling cocktail of champagne and orange juice. Street performers fill the plazas with music, and laughter echoes between the old stone walls. And then, the fire begins. Valencia is a city that celebrates life like no other, and nowhere is this more vivid than during Las Fallas, its world-famous festival of fire. For 1 week each March, the streets transform into a theater of creativity and chaos. Towering sculptures, ninos rise across the city, depicting everything from mythological figures to political satire. By night, fireworks burst over the rooftops. By day, parades and music fill the air. And when it ends, the figures are burned in a blazing finale, the crema, as the people of Valencia watch, smiling, tears in their eyes. From fire, they say, comes rebirth. From endings, new beginnings. This is what defines Valencia, the ability to honor the past while creating the future. It is a city where time doesn't move in a straight line. It circles, breathes, and renews itself endlessly. From the ancient silk markets of the Lonja de la Seda, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, to the cutting-edge designs of Calatrava's creations, Valencia embodies contrast and connection. As night deepens, the camera drifts across the skyline, the shimmering city of arts reflected in its pools, the cathedral tower glowing softly, the distant hum of waves against the shore. The voiceover lowers, calm and cinematic. Valencia is where light finds its home, a city of rebirth and radiance. Here, in the meeting of sea and soul, Spain reminds the world that beauty is not only seen in what we build, but in what we become. Shift to the sun-drenched coasts of southern Spain. From Malaga to Marbella and the white villages of Andalusia, show where sea meets tradition. Describe sunlit beaches, old fortresses, and Mediterranean charm. Blend leisure with legacy, the warmth of the people, the rhythm of the waves, and the timeless glow of the southern Sunday. The Mediterranean shimmers like a mirror of liquid light, reflecting a paradise scattered across the sea, the Balearic Islands. Each one a different dream. When most people hear their names Ibiza, Mallorca, Menorca, and Formentera, they think of beaches, music, and endless summer nights. But these islands hold much more than beauty and celebration. They carry the heartbeat of ancient civilizations, the whispers of pirates and poets, and the calm soul of the sea itself. The story begins on Ibiza, the island of rhythm and freedom. From the air, it glows like a jewel of white cliffs and turquoise coves, where pine-covered hills slope down to beaches that seem untouched by time. As the sun rises, the island is quiet. The sound of waves and the soft rustle of palm leaves fill the air. Only later does Ibiza awaken into its other self, the global capital of sound. But before the music begins, you walk through the ancient alleys of Dalt Vila, the old town. Stone steps wind upward through centuries of history. Whitewashed houses gleam beneath the morning sun, and balconies overflow with bougainvillea. At the top, the great cathedral watches over the sea, where Phoenician ships once anchored more than 2,000 years ago. The wind that brushes your face feels old, carrying memories of traders, sailors, and dreamers. From here, Ibiza reveals its two souls, the sacred and the wild. By day, you wander toward Cala Comte, a stretch of beach where the sea glows in every shade of blue sapphire, jade, and crystal. The water is so clear it looks like glass. Locals say the sunsets here are magic, and as the horizon begins to burn gold and pink, you understand why. The crowd gathers in silence, watching the sun sink into the sea, as if witnessing a ritual as old as time. And then, as night falls, the island transforms. Music rises from beach bars and open-air clubs. Lights flash like fireflies, and thousands of people move together in rhythm. It's not just a party, it's a celebration of existence itself. Yet, beyond the music, there is serenity. A short ferry ride takes you to Formentera, Ibiza's quiet sister. It's smaller, simpler, and breathtakingly pure. Long stretches of white sand meet water so transparent it looks unreal. You rent a bicycle and follow dusty paths through pine forests, stopping to swim in hidden coves where the only sound is your heartbeat and the ocean's pulse. Formentera feels untouched, like a place where the modern world forgot to arrive. From here, the journey turns north to Mallorca, the largest of the Balearic Islands, a land of mountains, monasteries, and Mediterranean splendor. The Serra de Tramuntana, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stretches along the island's northwest coast like a sleeping giant. Terraced olive groves climb the cliffs, and winding roads reveal stone villages perched high above the sea. In Valdemosa, cobbled streets and ivy-covered walls cradle an old monastery where composer Frédéric Chopin once sought peace. You can almost hear his music in the air, a soft echo of melancholy and beauty that still lingers in the wind. Further along the coast, the town of Soler rests in a valley of orange trees, their scent drifting through the streets. A vintage wooden tram rattles gently down to the port, passing sunlit cafes and smiling locals. Life here feels timeless, slow, golden, and kind. But Mallorca also dazzles with grandeur. In Palma de Mallorca, the capital, the great La Seu Cathedral rises above the sea, its Gothic spires piercing the blue sky. Built over centuries, it glows like a stone flame at sunset. Inside, the light floods through stained glass, casting waves of color across the floor, a living dance of faith and art. Just beyond the cathedral, narrow alleys twist through the old Arab quarter, where every turn reveals another story. A hidden courtyard, a centuries-old archway, the laughter of children echoing between walls. Then there is Menorca, the island of calm and balance. Unlike its neighbors, Menorca whispers instead of shouts. Its charm lies in stillness, soft hills, ancient stone walls, and beaches framed by wild cliffs. The turquoise waters of Cala, Macarella, and Cala Turqueta seem almost too perfect to be real. Here, time slows until you lose track of it entirely. You sit by the shore, watching the gentle rhythm of waves, and realize that peace doesn't need to be found, it's already here. As the sun begins to set over the Mediterranean, the islands come alive in their own way. In Ibiza, the lights start to pulse to the beat of music. In Mallorca, the sea reflects the glow of candlelit terraces. In Menorca, the stars begin to appear clearer, brighter than anywhere else. The Balearic Islands are not just destinations. They are reflections of the human spirit, wild, free, and endlessly beautiful. As the night deepens, the voice softens. In these islands, time bends like light on water. Here, the soul dances between peace and passion, silence and sound. The Balearics remind us that life is meant to be lived in rhythm with the sea, with the stars, and with each other. Reveal Spain's medieval legacy through its castles and fortresses, from Segovia's Alcázar to the towers of Toledo and the hilltop citadels of La Mancha. Narrate the stories of kings, knights, and battles that shaped the country. Highlight how every stone tells of Spain's courage and its eternal desire to protect beauty. In the heart of southern Spain lies Andalusia, a land that doesn't just exist, it performs. Every corner sings, every shadow dances, and every heartbeat echoes with centuries of passion. From the moment you arrive, you feel it, that undeniable rhythm, as if the earth itself were humming a song that never ends. The scent of orange blossoms floats through warm air, mingling with the strum of Spanish guitar. You're not just traveling through Andalusia, you're stepping into a living poem. The journey begins in Seville, a city where the past and present blur into one eternal festival. As you wander through its labyrinth of narrow streets, time seems to fold. Whitewashed houses glow beneath the Andalusian sun. Balconies overflow with flowers, and every courtyard hides a fountain whispering secrets from centuries ago. Then, rising like a vision of gold and stone, stands La Giralda, the bell tower of Seville's grand cathedral. Once a minaret under Muslim rule, it now carries the cross of Christ, a symbol of the city's layered soul. Inside the cathedral, light filters through stained glass onto Christopher Columbus's tomb, a reminder that this was once the heart, Spain's empire. But Seville is not just about monuments, it's about emotion. At night, you find yourself in a small tablao, a flamenco bar where the air trembles with intensity. A singer's voice cuts through the silence, raw and full of sorrow, while a dancer stamps the floor with ferocity and grace. The sound of clapping hands, the cry of the guitar, it's not just music, it's life itself, distilled into rhythm and movement. In that moment, you understand the true meaning of duende, the Spanish word for the soul's mysterious power to move and be moved. Travel east, and the golden light follows you to Granada, a city where cultures still meet in eternal dialogue. Above it all stands the Alhambra, a fortress palace that seems carved from dreams. Its walls are covered with poetry in Arabic script, verses praising beauty and paradise. Water flows gently through courtyards, reflecting delicate arches and geometric mosaics that shimmer in the sunlight. Standing in the court of the lions, you hear the echo of history, the rise and fall of dynasties, the blending of faiths, the passage of time. When evening comes, the Alhambra glows like an ember against the Sierra Nevada mountains, a vision so breathtaking that even silence feels sacred. Beneath the Alhambra lies the Albaicin, the old Moorish quarter, a maze of cobbled alleys, white walls, and hidden gardens. From the Mirador de San Nicolás, the view is perfection itself. The Alhambra bathed in sunset light, snow-capped peaks. Behind it, the city below beginning to flicker with night. You feel suspended between worlds past and present, dream and reality. Further south, Andalusia changes again. The landscape opens into golden fields and olive groves that stretch to the horizon. In Córdoba, the air feels slower, older, wiser. Here stands the Mezquita, one of the most extraordinary buildings on earth. Its forest of red and white arches seems infinite, each one a symbol of coexistence and contrast. Once a grand mosque, later transformed into a cathedral, the Mezquita embodies the very essence of Andalusia, a place where cultures don't erase one another, but intertwine to create something eternal. As you stand beneath its vast domes, light spilling from ancient lanterns, you realize you're standing inside a living story, one written by both faith and art. Andalusia is also the land of villages that seem to belong to another century. The Pueblos Blancos, white villages perched high on rocky cliffs. In Ronda, the ground opens into a deep gorge, the El Tajo, splitting the town in two. A stone bridge spans the chasm, suspended between sky and earth, offering a view that steals your breath. Below, the river glitters like a silver thread, while eagles glide through the canyon. Ronda has always been a place of contrasts of beauty and danger, poetry and rebellion. It's easy to see why writers like Hemingway and Rilke found their muse here. Then there's Malaga, where the Mediterranean once again takes center stage. Birthplace of Pablo Picasso, it carries art in its veins. You stroll along the Alcazaba, a Moorish fortress overlooking the sea, where the scent of jasmine and salt fills the air. In the old town, life unfolds in color street markets, laughter spilling from cafes, and the glow of sunset on ancient stone. But Andalusia's true magic lies beyond any single city it's in. The rhythm of its people, the warmth of their welcome, the way the sun paints everything gold. It's in the sound of footsteps on cobblestones, the taste of olive oil and sherry, the echo of laughter in courtyards, and the timeless music of the flamenco guitar. As twilight falls, a soft breeze moves through the olive fields. The last light catches on the white walls of distant villages, turning them to fire before fading to blue. Somewhere in the distance, a guitar begins to play, slow, tender, filled with longing. And as the stars appear over the Andalusian sky, you realize that this land isn't just beautiful, it's alive. It doesn't just tell stories, it sings them. Sail through the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, Ibiza, Menorca, where turquoise waters meet limestone cliffs and whitewashed villages. Then travel to the Canary Islands' volcanic lands of fire and wind. Describe the contrast between ocean serenity and volcanic power, capturing Spain's island spirit, wild, free, and endless. There's a place where Spain feels like a different world, where misty mountains rise above green valleys, the ocean crashes against jagged cliffs, and ancient traditions still whisper through the wind. This is the north of Spain, the land of the Basques, Asturians, and Galicians, regions that guard their secrets fiercely, and where nature reigns supreme. Here, the pace slows, the air smells of salt and rain, and the landscapes seem painted in every shade of green imaginable. This is not the Spain of flamenco or endless Sunday. This is the Spain of mystery, untamed, poetic, and wild. The journey begins in the Basque Country, a land where mountains meet the Atlantic in dramatic beauty. It's a place with a soul unlike anywhere else, ancient, proud, and full of quiet intensity. The city of San Sebastian, nestled between emerald hills and golden beaches, is a masterpiece of elegance. You walk along La Concha Bay, its crescent shoreline gleaming like a pearl, while waves roll gently to the sound of distant laughter. Locals stroll arm in arm, and the aroma of grilled seafood fills the air. But San Sebastian is not just about beauty, it's about taste. The Basques have elevated food into art. In the old town, each bar is a stage for a culinary performance. Pintixos, small bites of exquisite perfection, line the counters like jewels. Every flavor, every bite, feels like a story told through passion and precision. Further west, the mood deepens. You reach Bilbao, once a gritty industrial port, now reborn as one of Europe's most vibrant cultural centers. And at its heart stands the Guggenheim Museum, a masterpiece of modern architecture that glimmers like a ship made of silver sails. Designed by Frank Gehry, it transformed not just the city, but the spirit of the entire region. Inside, light dances across titanium walls as contemporary art fills the vast spaces, abstract forms, strange shadows, and the hum of creativity. Bilbao is living proof that art can change everything, even the destiny of a city. Beyond the cities lies the raw wilderness of the Basque countryside, green valleys dotted with stone farmhouses, mist curling through the hills, and trails that lead to breathtaking views over the Bay of Biscay. The locals call this region Euskal Herria, the land of the Basque language, and their identity runs deep, carried in their words, their dances, and their unbroken connection to the land. As you cross into Asturias, the landscape grows wilder still. Mountains rise sharply, covered in forests where rivers cut deep through ancient gorges. The Picos de Europa National Park is a world of its own, rugged peaks, crystal lakes, and tiny villages clinging to the hillsides. The silence here is immense, broken only by the call of eagles or the distant sound of cowbells. The air feels purer, colder, older. In villages like Cangas de Onís, stone bridges and chapels seem frozen in time, relics of a medieval world that somehow never vanished. The Asturian coast, meanwhile, feels like a forgotten paradise, hidden coves, emerald waters, and beaches carved by the relentless sea. In Ribadesella and Lanes, the waves crash against limestone cliffs with unstoppable power. You can feel the Atlantic here, fierce, eternal, alive. And when night falls, the scent of wood smoke and cider fills the air. Asturias is known for its sidra, a tart apple cider poured from a great height to awaken its flavor. Locals drink it with pride, laughing beneath the stars, their voices carried by the wind. Then, the path bends westward into Galicia, where land and ocean seem to merge in endless motion. This is a land of myths and miracles, of mist-shrouded forests and sacred waters. At its heart lies Santiago de Compostela, the legendary destination of the Camino de Santiago, the ancient pilgrimage that has drawn travelers for over 1,000 years. As you walk its cobbled streets, you hear the sound of footsteps from pilgrims arriving from all over the world, their faces filled with awe and exhaustion. The Cathedral of Santiago, with its soaring towers and Baroque facade, stands as a beacon of faith and endurance. When the great censer, the Botafumeiro, swings through the air inside the cathedral, leaving a trail of incense and light, it feels like witnessing the meeting of heaven and earth. But Galicia is more than its pilgrimage. It's a world of cliffs and legends, the Costa de Morte, the coast of death, where the sea has claimed countless ships and where lighthouses stand like guardians at the edge of the world. In Finisterre, the ancient Romans believed this was literally the end of the earth Finisterre. As the sun sinks into the Atlantic, the horizon burns in gold and crimson, and you understand why they believed it. It's not just a view, it's a feeling of infinity. Inland, the Galician countryside rolls in waves of green hills, stone cottages, and misty fields. Ancient Celtic ruins hide among the trees, and the sound of bagpipes drifts through village festivals. The people of Galicia still speak their own language, Gallego, and their connection to the land feels almost spiritual. In the north, Spain reveals its most soulful self, quiet, resilient, and endlessly beautiful. It's a place that speaks softly but stays with you forever. As the last light fades over the Atlantic, the wind carries the sound of the ocean across the cliffs. Waves crash against the rocks, the air smells of salt and rain, and a sense of deep peace fills the heart. The north doesn't dazzle you with color or noise, it captures you with truth. Here, in the mist and the green, you find something rare, beauty that feels eternal. Immerse in the sensory richness of Spanish cuisine, from tapas in Seville to paella in Valencia, and Rioja wines in the north. Show how food becomes storytelling. Explore bustling markets, vineyards, and seaside taverns. Connect each flavor to its region, its people, and the spirit of sharing that defines Spain. There are places in Spain where time seems to dissolve into the turquoise sea, where the days melt into golden sunsets and nights pulse with the rhythm of waves and laughter. Welcome to the Balearic Islands, a Mediterranean paradise where beauty and emotion intertwine. Each island here tells its own story, from the wild, untamed cliffs of Mallorca to the serene charm of Menorca, from the bohemian soul of Ibiza to the untouched magic of Formentera. This isn't just a destination. It's a feeling, one that lingers long after you've left its shores. The journey begins with Mallorca, the largest and perhaps most enchanting of them all. Imagine sailing into Palma de Mallorca, the capital, its skyline dominated by the majestic Lasu Cathedral, rising like a golden crown above the city walls. As the sun strikes its sandstone facade, it glows like fire, mirrored in the calm waters of the harbor. Narrow medieval streets twist behind it, filled with markets, art galleries, and courtyards fragrant with orange blossoms. But Mallorca's true soul lies beyond the city, in its mountains, its coves, and its silence. The Serra de Tramuntana, a mountain range that stretches across the island's northwest, is a masterpiece sculpted by time and wind. Ancient terraces carved into steep slopes are lined with olive trees that have stood for centuries. Roads curve through cliffs that drop straight into sapphire seas, and tiny villages like Valdemasa and Dea cling to the hillsides like dreamscapes from another era. You can almost hear Chopin's piano drifting from an old monastery, where he once sought peace and inspiration. Up here, the light changes constantly, soft gold at dawn, deep amber by dusk, painting the stone walls with living color. On Mallorca's northern edge lies Cap de Formentor, where the island seems to crumble into the sea. The drive there is a dance of turns and vistas, jagged cliffs, endless blues, and the smell of pine and salt. Standing at the lighthouse, you feel the power of nature in full force, the wind, the sea, the sky merging into one vast, humbling silence. Then there's Menorca, Mallorca's quieter, more contemplative sibling. Time moves differently here, slower, softer. The island is a mosaic of hidden coves, whitewashed villages, and fields divided by ancient stone walls. The beaches Cala Macarella, Cala Mijana, Cala Pregonda look almost unreal, their waters glowing in impossible shades of turquoise. Menorca's charm lies in its simplicity. There are no grand monuments, no crowds chasing fame, just the rhythm of waves, the sound of wind in olive trees, and the warmth of a sunset that seems to last forever. At night, you find yourself walking through Ciutadella, a small port city where history breathes through narrow streets. The air smells of sea salt and grilled fish, and the sound of laughter echoes between the stone walls. The island has a stillness, not emptiness, but peace. A peace that modern life rarely allows. And then there's Ibiza, the island that never sleeps, yet somehow dreams with open eyes. To the world, Ibiza means parties and lights, but its true magic lies beyond the music. Drive north, away from the clubs, and you'll find rolling hills, quiet beaches, and the scent of rosemary in the air. The Ibiza of the soul lives in places like Es Vedra, a towering rock rising from the sea, shrouded in legend and mystery. Locals say it's magnetic, sacred, a source of energy. Standing before it at sunset, you feel that strange pull, as if the island itself is whispering ancient secrets to the waves. Evenings in Ibiza are a kind of ritual, not just for the nightlife, but for the spectacle of the setting Sunday. On the cliffs of Café del Mar in San Antonio, hundreds gather in silence as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sea in gold and crimson. Then, as darkness falls, music rises, not noise, but rhythm, and the night begins. It's a cycle of light, sound, and spirit that defines Ibiza's essence: freedom. Finally, there's Formentera, the smallest and most untouched of the Balearics, a place where simplicity becomes luxury. Only a short ferry ride from Ibiza, it feels like another world. The beaches here are unreal, long ribbons of white sand and crystal clear water that looks more like the Caribbean than the Mediterranean. You can ride a bicycle from one end of the island to the other, past windmills and salt flats, with the scent of sea breeze all around. Playa de Seiletes, often called one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, seems to stretch straight into the horizon. Formentera is a whisper, soft, quiet, endlessly soothing. Here, the days unfold like dreams, and nights are filled with the sound of the sea. People come here not to escape the world, but to remember what peace feels like. Each of the Balearic Islands holds a different rhythm, a different soul. Together, they form a symphony of color, of light, of emotion. In Mallorca, you find grandeur. In Menorca, stillness. In Ibiza, freedom. And in Formentera, serenity. They're four verses of the same song, a song written by the sea and sung by the wind. As the final sunset descends over the Balearic horizon, the islands glow like jewels scattered across the Mediterranean. The waves whisper softly along the shore, and the last rays of gold kiss the sea. It's not just beauty you find here, it's connection to nature, to time, to something greater. And with a poetic, emotional finale. Reflect on Spain's beauty, from its sunlit plains to snow-covered peaks, from sacred cathedrals to silent olive groves. Conclude that Spain isn't just a country, it's a feeling that stays long after you've left. Fade out on golden light over a horizon that seems eternal. In the heart of Spain, where every road, every river, and every story seems to converge, stands Madrid, a city that beats with the rhythm of the nation's soul. It's not just a capital, it's a living, breathing symphony of art, passion, and motion. Madrid doesn't just show itself to you, it sweeps you up in its energy, its warmth, its pulse. From sunrise to the quiet glow of midnight, this city is alive, unrestrained, and endlessly captivating. The journey begins in Puerta del Sol, the symbolic center of Spain. Here, under the statue of the bear and the strawberry tree, Madrid's emblem, people from all walks of life cross paths. Street musicians fill the air with music, laughter echoes from cafes, and the energy feels electric, almost magnetic. It's the kind of place that doesn't just exist on a map, it exists in movement, in sound, in the heartbeat of the people. A few steps away, Plaza Mayor opens up like a grand stage. This 17th century square, with its red facades and elegant arcades, has witnessed centuries of celebration, ceremony, and history. Today, it's alive with chatter, the aroma of coffee, and the occasional flamenco chord from a distant guitar. Wandering through Madrid feels like walking through layers of history wrapped in modern vibrance. The Royal Palace, with its sweeping courtyards and grand marble halls, stands as a testament to Spain's imperial past. Its chandeliers glisten like captured starlight, and its rooms whisper stories of kings, queens, and revolutions. From its terraces, the view stretches over the Campo del Moro gardens, where fountains murmur beneath ancient trees. And just nearby, the Almudena Cathedral rises in neoclassical beauty, its dome shimmering under the Castilian Sunday. Yet, Madrid is not frozen in its past. It's a city that celebrates life in the present. Just across the Gran Via, often called the Spanish Broadway, lights flash, theaters hum, and every corner feels like an invitation to dream. The sound of footsteps and laughter mingles with the echoes of jazz, flamenco, and street performers playing to the night. This is where Madrid's modern heart beats loudest, a celebration of art, music, and the pure joy of being alive. But if you want to feel the soul of Madrid, you need to slow down. You need to walk through Retiro Park, the city's green sanctuary. Once a royal retreat, it's now the lungs of the city. A place where locals jog, couples row boats across the crystal lake, and old men play chess under chestnut trees. At sunset, golden light filters through the leaves. The air smells of jasmine and coffee, and the hum of the city fades into something softer, something eternal. Not far away lies the Prado Museum, one of the world's great treasures of art. Here, you stand before the timeless works of Velázquez, Goya, and El Greco paintings that define centuries of vision and emotion. The Museo Reina Sofia continues the story, with modern masterpieces like Picasso's haunting Guernica, a work that stops time, demanding silence, reflection, and respect. Art in Madrid isn't confined to museums, it spills into the streets, onto murals, into performances, into life itself. As day turns to night, the rhythm changes but never fades. Dinner in Madrid is not just a meal, it's an event. In La Latina, the streets overflow with tables and voices. You sit down for tapas, small plates of perfection, jamón ibérico, croquetas, olives, and tortilla española, all paired with rich Spanish wine. Conversations stretch for hours, and laughter fills the night air. There's no rush, no deadline. Madrid teaches you the art of presence, the beauty of now. Later, as the city glows under the streetlights, you might find yourself in Malasaña or Chueca, neighborhoods where creativity thrives. Here, life feels spontaneous, colorful, and young. Bars hum with music, people dance freely, and every doorway seems to lead to another story. Madrid at night is a world without sleep, where the moon watches over a city that refuses to stop living. And yet, beyond the noise and sparkle, Madrid holds moments of quiet grace. In early morning, when the streets are still and the sky begins to blush with light, you can feel something profound, a sense of connection to centuries past, to artists, poets, and dreamers who all walked these same cobblestones. Madrid isn't defined by monuments or museums alone, it's defined by feeling. It's in the joy of a spontaneous conversation with a stranger, the rhythm of a guitarist in a plaza, the golden light that falls on stone at dusk. It's in the way the city welcomes you openly, passionately, completely. As the camera pulls back, the skyline of Madrid glows against the night, the spires, the domes, the hum of endless life. In this heart of Spain, everything converges: history, art, emotion, and hope. And for a moment, as the lights shimmer across the rooftops, you understand why they say, "From Madrid to heaven and in heaven, a little corner from Madrid." In the end, Spain is not something you see, it's something you feel. It lingers in the scent of orange blossoms, in the rhythm of a distant guitar, in the glow of sunset on ancient stone. From the proud towers of Madrid to the silent shores of Galicia, from the fiery heart of Andalusia to the peaceful hills of Catalonia, Spain lives in its contrasts, and that's what makes it eternal. As the lights dim and the journey comes to an end, one truth remains: Spain doesn't leave you. It stays with you in your heart, in your dreams, and in every moment you remember that beauty can still take your breath away. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.